Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today, I know we were supposed to have a 100 Dragon Challenge technically today, but instead we're doing a super fun collaboration. So today I'm doing a collab with Darkest Raven Designs, and we are going to be creating something really amazing today. So I really recommend checking out Chantel's video over on her channel after we're done here, but I was really pumped to collaborate with her. She does a lot of amazing miniatures, really awesome creations. She's done a couple of different little Harry Potter matchbox sized creations and sculpts, and they're all so amazing and cool. So if you haven't already, please go check out her channel as well. So Chantel reached out to me a little while ago to go over some ideas and figure out what we could do for a collaboration, and we messaged back and forth, and I shared my love of Dungeons and Dragons and storytelling, and we just kind of developed something together, and that's what today's video is going to be. So kind of what we crafted together was a story about an elf artificer and what he's doing in this post-war world of his, and I'm really excited to jump into this. So how we crafted this is I'm going to be making the characters and drawing them and illustrating them, and then Darkest Raven Designs is going to be creating the environment that they're in. She's very skilled in 3D art and creating these amazing scenes out of awesome fake grass and leathers and all this really cool stuff. So she's gonna just execute an amazing laboratory for our elf artificer. And then I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to the story of our elf and get some drawing done on his design and what he looks like. So let's go ahead and jump into that and a little bit of the backstory about our characters. All right, time to jump into our character design. So I had a general idea for our elf artificer in my brain when I started concepting the story, but then I realized a lot of elves don't really have facial hair. I did a little bit of research on it, and I guess it's just more common when they're very, very old, and I didn't want our artificer to be super old, and I didn't really want to go through the process of being oh, maybe he's half human. No, these elves were probably all very purists, elves only, I feel, just based off of how their war started. So after his design was done, it was time to jump in and do the overall composition sketch. So during this, I'm going to read you guys the story that we crafted for these characters and kind of the setting overall for this scene. So the lands of Corvus and the Isles of Irie had been peaceful neighbors once, but about 200 years ago, the greedy king of Corvus sought to take the islands for himself. The king lusted after the exotic spices, plants, and the rumored gold that lay deep in the island mines. So the orcs of Irie Isles didn't really want to give up their land. You know, it was the place of their ancestors, and they wouldn't give it up without a fight. Generations of bloodshed followed. Countless raids and counterstrikes wiped out entire bloodlines from both the elf and the orc side. Finally, one fateful day, the son of the Corvus king realized how pointless this war was. So many of the prince's friends were lost in battles he led. To end this madness, the prince planned a coup to overthrow his father. Military generals and advisors to the royal family had all lost someone in this war, so the prince had no trouble convincing them to come to his side. They overthrew the greedy king and declared the war over. The war had finally come to an end. A battle long fought by generations over such trivial squabbles had finally been laid to rest. To amend for their crimes, the prince vowed to send as much help as he could to the Isles. Arathorn, the head artificer of the royal court, was the first to step forward and offer his services. During the war, Arathorn developed armor and mechanized fighters to aid in slaughtering the orcs. The greedy old king once told him it was his calling to help them take the Isles from these ingrates, but now Arathorn saw how wrong he was in believing such terrible lies. Arathorn promised he would help in any way he could in restoring the orcs to their true glory, and he would start with what he knew best, inventing and creating new limbs for them. Many orcs were killed in the battles, but most of them were just very brutally injured. The orcs of the Isles are sturdy and strong, and even if one lost a limb, they would get up and continue to fight. Countless now were without arms, legs, ears, feet, hands, you name it. Arathorn knew he could help them get back on their feet, so to say. He dedicated his life to helping the orcs and outfitted all of them with new prosthetics to help them return to their normal lives. Arathorn spent the rest of his life there on the Isles doing whatever he could to pay down the debt of blood he accrued. So basically that is a little bit of the story of our elf artificer Arathorn, and then his orc friend here that he's helping outfit with a new arm. And I really liked this concept of trying to tie in a really cool artificer and kind of give it a steampunk look, but also I imagine his like workshop kind of also being kind of like islandy, but also mechanically advanced in steampunk. I'm really excited for you guys to see what Darkest Raven creates with this, because it was a really fun idea to kind of combine steampunk, I guess you could call it more modern technology, and kind of like a more naturalistic island feel to it as well. And it was really fun crafting this story. I would love to develop this more, maybe like a mini series or a mini comic to show the origins of Arathorn and his rise maybe through the ranks in the Corvus royal court, and just slowly becoming a better and better artificer, and then even showing the back end of kind of what he created to hurt the orcs and how much it affected him afterwards, after realizing how, you know, pointless this war was. It kind of reminds me of how, if you read any testimonials of the scientists that created the atomic bomb, I think a lot of them thoroughly regretted it after they figured out how, like, devastating it was and what their creation, like, how it directly affected other people. I could see that kind of similar to how Arathorn is suffering. He probably made some war forges or really crazy advanced like mechanical creatures or something that would go against these orcs and just wreck everything, you know? And Arathorn probably feels very guilty about murdering so many innocent people and being kind of fed lies from the king. So I just thought it was a really interesting setting. And I'm actually curious, I know there's quite a few of you here that do play D&D. I think this would make a really fun one-off campaign, like to set up the stage, and maybe we could either have it pre or post-war, or even during the war. We could have like 2 mini campaigns of, like, you would have one campaign from the orc side, one campaign from the elf side. I think that would be really fun to write and create for like a one-off session. So if you guys are interested in that, and if you guys like D&D, I'd love to hear it down in the comments below on if a one-off sounds really cool. I know those take a lot longer to craft, so I mean, if it is a resounding yes, I'm not going to be able to bust it out in a week, but I bet I could get it going and get something really cool started for this little world we created. And then we could even incorporate more cool building designs, like starting off from where Darkest Raven started with the building. Now we have some place to go in creating this world and this lore and these awesome, like, playable characters. I think it'd be super cool to just, like, have some type of campaign in this world. And it doesn't have to be, like, a super expansive campaign. Like, you would probably have quite a few places to explore in Corvus. They would have probably their royal cities and some of the smaller cities and settlements within this elf kingdom, and then the Isles are probably like a smaller civilization, but would have maybe multiple other locations that players could go to, or like mini side quests to help aid in like either the war effort or post-war, whichever setting is decided upon. I'm just really excited because that sounds like a really, really fun project to do. But back to the piece, I really had a lot of fun doing this lighting and coloring. I talk about it a bit more at the end, but this was a really fun like push of my comfort level. I don't really do those really like bright lighting from like, you know, these look similar to welding tools. They probably have more like magical attributes to these like welding like tools. but I don't really do those really bright brights and highlights, and I feel this worked really well. I think I could have pushed some of the shadows just a little bit more to really make those brights stand out even more, but I'm very happy with how this looks, and I think this is a really awesome and moody piece, and it just has so much personality, and I love it to pieces. All right, guys, and we are all done with this piece, and I had a blast. This was so fun to create. I really enjoyed making our elf artificer and one of his, I guess you could call it an orc patient. I just had so much fun with this. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a hint to Darkest Raven's design with my background, so you just get a little taste, just a very small taste of what she created for the environment that these two are in. And then I just had a lot of fun experimenting with the lighting and just really pushing those darks and lights. I love it. It was super fun. There's a couple things that I know I could improve on, like looking back, I think I could have done a little bit better on the perspective of the chair, and I probably could push some of those darks and lights even more, but I am still pretty happy with these results. I think it's just going to take even more time, more practice, and just me getting more comfortable with certain aspects of art still, and I'm very pleased with the piece. I could go on and find like little nitpicks, but it's not going to dampen how much fun I had with this. There's just so much personality and expression, and I love how the two of them are interacting. I'm very happy with this one. So please, again, make sure to go check out Darkest Raven Designs video over on her channel. Give her some love, send her some subscribes. She does amazing work, so please go check her out. And I hope you guys like the environment that these guys are in. I'm so excited for you guys to see this. Or if you came from Darkest Raven's design over to here, I hope you really liked seeing these characters after getting a chance to see what environment they're placed in. But either way, thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out this video. So if you're new here, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, join our little community of like D&D monster dragon like enthusiasts, and I'd love to see you over here on this channel. And if you really liked this video, I'd also super appreciate a like. It really helps with the algorithm and everything. And leave me a comment down below of like, if you in this universe, if you would want to be on like the elf side or the orc side, or like maybe what you would have done in like this post-war world. I would love to hear some more insight from you guys on that. But anyway, thank you guys again so much for stopping by, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.